Hi guys, Happy New Year. Kate Campbell here. Welcome to Pink Tomato Kitchen. Today we're going to be kicking off 2024 with a low-carb dinner eating style menu of some lamb lollipops and a stacked Greek salad. Okay guys, we're going to start with our rack of lamb. So this is your classic rib roast, French rack of lamb. I got it just at the supermarket. This is one of my favorite things to cook, and I think people misunderstand lamb a little bit. They think it's too gamey, or they're a little bit afraid to cook it. It can sometimes feel a little bit intimidated, but really it's not. It's just like walking the dog or roasting a chicken. It's simple. So here's my rack of lamb, and remember, lamb varies in sizes, so you're gonna cook relative. And lamb, unlike beef, you want to actually be a little bit more medium. You don't want it to be super rare. So I like to cook my lamb to be about 160 medium-ish degrees in the middle. And that will vary based on the size of your rib roast. So I've got my rack here. I'm gonna make a marinade. So I don't typically marinate my lamb for a whole overnight, which you can. You probably just need a couple hours. If you're in a pinch, you could literally just make this, pour it on top, and throw it right in the oven, which I've totally done. But ideally, you have like 4 hours to marinate. And my secret to any lamb marinade, you can really mix this up based on genre. I've done a more Asian one, a more Italian one. Today we're doing more Mediterranean. So I've got the fresh oregano here and my garlic. And no matter what, when I'm doing lamb, I always do soy sauce, an acid, and a Dijon mustard. So today for our acid, we're using the Global Gardens fig balsamic vinegar and just a soy sauce. So I've got 1/3 of a cup of both of those here, 1/4 of a cup of Dijon mustard, 2 tablespoons, which is about 6 cloves of shaved garlic, about 2 tablespoons of chopped fresh oregano, and 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. So I've got my rack. I'm gonna just go ahead and salt and pepper the top part. The soy sauce has a lot of salt, so I don't really wanna overdo it. Okay, now I'm gonna make our marinade. So I'm gonna take 1/4 of a cup of Dijon mustard and put that here in my bowl. Then I'm gonna add, this is 1/3 of a cup of soy sauce and 1/3 of a cup of the fig balsamic vinegar. So the soy sauce really helps cut the gamey flavor out of lamb, which some people, particularly me, I don't much care for the gaminess. So I find that the soy sauce really gets in there with the salt and kind of takes that overly gamey flavor out. If you're more, if you prefer the gamier flavor, I would marinate it less. But especially for those of you with little kids out there, if you're trying to get them to explore new foods, the soy sauce mustard marinade really makes it an A+. My kids will chomp on these all day long. So I'm gonna add my garlic. I'm just gonna add all the ingredients into this bowl here and whisk it up. I'm gonna add the fresh oregano. Okay guys, we've got our marinade on. We've got our garlic and our oregano kind of placed on top here, and we're gonna let this guy hang out in the fridge. I'm gonna cover it with some saran wrap. Like I said, 4 hours is ideal, and then we'll pop it into the oven. Okay guys, we are gonna make a stacked Greek salad. It's super tangy, delicious, full of fresh herbs. I've got some fresh cherry tomatoes here, sliced up in half with some Kalamata Greek olive and a little bit of salt. So those have been hanging out for about 10-15 minutes. You wanna let your tomatoes marry a little bit. So I call it a stacked Greek salad because it's individualized and it doesn't have lettuce. So when you actually go to Greece, and you order a Greek salad, it doesn't have lettuce on it, right? It's cucumbers and peppers and onions. So I'm not doing peppers today, but I'm doing fresh cherry tomatoes, sliced cucumbers, these are Persian cucumbers, some red onion that's gonna be shaved super finely, a really yummy Greek imported feta, some sliced Kalamata olives, and some fresh oregano. And we're gonna stack this up, we're gonna toss it together, and we're gonna put a really pretty slice of the feta cheese on top. So when you're eating it, it's just layered and yummy and delicious, and with the little lamb lollipops on the side, it's gonna be awesome. Guys, when I cook, I have found that really good quality ingredients makes and breaks your dishes. For me, it starts with olive oil. This Global Gardens brand is local here to the Valley. She has so many amazing varieties. Today, I'm gonna use the Kalamata Greek because we're going Mediterranean. This is an amazing, fruit-forward, very flavorful. It's so delicious. All right, guys, I got my cukes. All right, so we're gonna cut these. I'm gonna use my trusty mandolin. This is the best thing ever. Everyone in my family makes fun of me for mandolining anything I can get my hands on, but I'm just telling you, life is better when it's shaved, okay? On a number of levels, but that's neither here nor there. We are going to shave these cucumbers, but we're not gonna shave them super fine. We're gonna put them on a level 3 today because we really want them more sliced, but you don't want it to be like a big, thick, mushy bite of cucumber. You want it to be a delicate, but not shaved like a radish where it's gonna get lost in the mix. So I have 5 cucumbers, and this is gonna serve 4 people. So I'm just gonna cut the ends off of these, and then I'm gonna go ahead and mandolin them right up and toss them with my tomatoes. And then next we're gonna shave a little onion. So again, it's just really simple, and I love it because you get a consistent cut every time. You're not like struggling with your knife, trying to make sure you're holding the knife properly and that your slices are gonna be uneven. Mine is to never not look at what you're doing. I mean, that is, and also people who want to save the tiny little ends, forget about it. Just throw it out when it gets too scary. You know, your finger is worth more than the end of that cucumber. Okay, now we've cut up our cucumbers here. See, they're even sliced all the way across the board. So what I'm gonna do is add them. This is another gadget that everyone needs. Look, you just scoop it all up, put it in the bowl. You're not taking like a million handfuls of cucumbers. All right, so I've got all my cukes in, and I'm going to add my tomatoes, which again, they do have some olive oil and salt. So I don't want to have this be overly oily, but I want it to be seasoned, layered. I want to season every layer. So look at, that's a good ratio too. You don't want it to be too tomatoey or too cucumbery. You want it to be a good, even experience when you're eating your stacked Greek salad. Okay, so I'm gonna taste this and see. Makes such a difference when you have your tomatoes hang out together. Just like kids, when they marinate, they get along. You gotta do a little bit of salt. It's actually really good. I'm gonna add a little bit more of my Global Gardens olive oil. Just a little drizzle. Maybe a little bit more salt, dime-sized pinch. Just give it a little toss. Okay, now I'm gonna add in my olives. This is a whole jar of pitted, halved Kalamatas. They're from El Rancho. They're called Persephone. I'm gonna add like a handful. I don't think maybe the whole jar might be too much. You don't want like a Kalamata tamponade. You just want to have it be an accent. So let's say half a can, light handful. Fresh oregano is not always paramount. If you're making pasta sauce and you want to make it out of the pantry, you have dried oregano, great. For a stacked Greek, you need the fresh. So this is 2 tablespoons of finely minced, chopped, fresh oregano. So I've got 2 tablespoons. I'm probably use about half, about 1. And I'm gonna sprinkle that in. And I'm gonna go ahead and toss that in, maybe a little more. And then I'm gonna use the rest to garnish on top. But you want that fresh oregano to be present throughout. So I just keep mixing again. We're layering here. I'm gonna add a little bit of freshly ground pepper too. All right, now I'm gonna shave the onion. So we're really gonna shave it, really closely shorn. So I'm gonna move my dial on my mandolin to a 1. This is half of a red onion that I've put in quarters because you want your shaved onion to be bite-sized. You don't wanna have like a big hunk of burger-sized onion in your mouth when you're eating a salad. So it's on level 1. I'm just gonna go ahead and glide this right on. And it makes these really pretty thin slices. Like I said, okay, just your thumb is worth more than that onion is. So I've got this really pretty, look, the core is kind of fanned out. It's like paper thin, translucent, that's what you want. And we really probably only need like a quarter. Like this is for a serving of 4. If I was gonna double this and serve 6, 8, I would use the whole half, but I'm only gonna use the quarter. So I'm gonna pop that in there. Use my little trusty, whatever that's called, and toss this in with the Greek. And then we're gonna top it with some feta and remaining oregano. And we're
Fabulous.
Okay guys, let's talk about feta. Feta is important. You can get the crumbles, you can do all that. There's all kinds of formats of feta available, but I really like a high quality feta. So this is an organic imported from Greece feta. And it comes in a cube. So I like to slice this, which is why I call it a stacked Greek salad. So I'm gonna cut this little bad boy in half because I feel like this is a very aggressive length of feta. And I'm gonna cut that in half. So 1 cube of feta will serve 4. So the salad ratio will serve 4. And don't get all tied up in the ratios. You gotta just use your instincts when you're cooking. I'm just trying to give you a guideline, so if for you recipe followers out there, you'll be okay. And see, this one's chosen to crumble, which is okay, but we'll make it work. Just like Julia Child says, who's to know? This Greek salad will taste great with the Cabernet as well, I promise. So let's plate it. I'm gonna take a scoop of our olive, shaved red onion, cucumber, and cherry tomatoes with some olive oil and salt and pepper. That's all it is, super simple. So I'm gonna take a good size on my plate, and we call it a stacked Greek because, again, no lettuce. We're gonna spoon it. It's really meant to be enjoyed individually. So we're gonna put a good, nice amount on this plate here. And then I'm gonna place my pretty little thin slice of feta. I'm going to drizzle it with a little bit more of this Global Gardens Greek style olive oil. A little crack of pepper. Top with a little bit of fresh oregano. Maybe a few olives to garnish. And there you go. And she's a beauty. Okay guys, here we are. We've got our beautiful lamb lollies. We've got our stacked Greek. We've got a little combo plate here. Just Happy New Year. Thanks so much for joining us today. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button there on YouTube. And, you know, don't be afraid of your own rat.